What if I told you that a homeless drug addict and a self-made multimillionaire were the same person? Khalil Rafati went from living on the streets of Skid Row, one of the most notorious homelessness districts, with no hope in sight, to running a business that generates tens of millions of dollars a year. His journey began with a painful past marked by addiction, but it was through that very darkness that he found a brilliant idea that would change his life forever.
I was born in Toledo, Ohio, a little rural town. It was a really, really tough upbringing. A lot of violence, sexual abuse, neglect, just fucking dark.
Her parents were immigrants. Neither of them spoke English very well. They just were not equipped to be parents. 10 years old, and Khalil was already running around with older kids in the neighborhood and trying to take puffs off their joints of 11 years old.
So now I'm chugging beers. Man, I was looking for attention any way I could get it, whether it was vandalism or shoplifting
With less than $1,000, he moved to LA, determined to chase fame and fortune.
I got into a rock and roll band because that seemed to be easier, plus doing drugs was more acceptable.
What drugs were you taking?
Oh God, what drugs weren't I taking? Ketamine and GHB, ecstasy every night. I knew I was never going to get out at that point. I completely gave up.
Today, Khalil runs a juice bar chain that makes tens of millions of dollars a year, a unique place that he described like this.
I love this store.
It's definitely a labor of love. I've been doing this for 11 years.
But before we get to that, how bad was Khalil's situation living on the streets of Skid Row, the most infamous homeless district in the world, a place people wouldn't believe could exist?
You're watching people get thrown out of windows, you're watching people get stabbed to death in front of you, another person.
And he was living like this for almost 2 years.
Beaten in and out of jail, in and out of jail, in and out of jail, overdose, into the hospital, out of the hospital, back into jail, back into overdose, back into the hospital. It's just a disgusting, filthy existence.
A complete nightmare for anyone who has never seen the dark side of drugs. But Khalil is a different man now. It's been so long since he last used drugs that he's even fulfilled his dream of owning one of the most expensive and luxurious SUVs in the world.
This was my dream car forever. I think Sport Plus, then it's...
He had to recover first to reach where he is now. After everyone gave up on him, he sought professional help and fully committed to 12-step programs.
I went to meetings every single day, started cleaning people's apartments. In order for me to change, in order for me to start living a new life.
And magic begins to come into your life.
I got a sponsor. I did exactly what the my sponsor wanted me to do. He made me do the coffee and cookie commitment.
What he didn't realize was that this simple task of ensuring coffee and cookies at recovery meetings would end up changing his life forever.
I want to bring some strawberries this time. I set up this spread. Here comes the druggy buggy dropping off all of the Salvation Army guys. And when they saw that food, the look of joy, the look of, oh my God.
Khalil began to experience a sense of purpose and connection with himself, something that motivated him to continue giving his all during every meeting he attended. And that's how his $1 million idea came to fruition.
My soul, my being was being cleansed, and tiny, tiny fragments at a time, I was building self-esteem. I say 1% better every day, no matter what. Get up every day, go for a walk, read a page of a book, go be kind to somebody, volunteer some 1% better every day.
And after 5 years of his coffee and cookie commitment, he saved up money from various jobs, invested it, and became a sponsor to help others in their recovery.
So I thought, well, what if I just open up a facility and then I can kind of help a bunch of people at once? I took a massive chance. I took every penny that I had. There was no guarantee that customers were going to come. I went all in.
This recovery program was the idea for his first business, and his house is clearly an example of this passion for self-care, is clearly visible in this oasis of a home he's built for himself.
Never going to drink and do drugs again. I am going to create a life that's so amazing that I never want to go back.
It clearly makes him happy. So how did the recovery business do? And how did he start his multi-million-dollar juice bar empire?
I fantasize about having a little juice bar where everything would be organic and where everybody would be happy, and I would hire like people from the neighborhood.
So he sold his business, took all the money he saved up, and put everything on the line.
We didn't have money for a sign. We didn't have money for shelves. And I literally thought to myself, like, what the f was I thinking? This is insanity. I'm gonna be responsible for—
If you feel old and think you're no longer old enough to fulfill your dreams and strive for your goals, listen to what this 52-year-old former drug addict give you as life lesson. His mid-30s, he was homeless and addicted to drugs. At age 40, he recovered and had a business, and then he was putting everything on the line again.
You have no idea how young you are. I'm 52 in the greatest shape of my life. Let's say you're 40. You think you're old, you think life has passed you by. 10 years are gonna go by, and you know the first thought you're gonna think after you get that 50-year birthday celebration, you're gonna go, I was so young, why didn't I take advantage of it? And when I was 27, 28, 29, I thought, well, I haven't made it yet, I'm gonna kill myself. Can you imagine?
And in 2011, the first Sun Life organic store was finally set up. Khalil's story is further proof that it's never too late to make a significant change in our lives. If he's a former drug addict lost in one of the most hostile places like Skid Row, he can save himself and achieve a successful future. Why can't you? Let me read your thoughts in the comments of this video. Thanks for watching. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video too, so maybe you should subscribe this channel for more great money and transformation histories.